Happy New Year to everyone. As per request, here I am talking a little bit about the winter 2024 anime season of anime. I have pre selected a few examples of great titles, or perhaps possibly great titles, to comment today, both new and continuing anime. So, let's not lose our time because it's better to spend time watching anime itself. We are going to start with new anime, effectively brand new anime in the season, with the one I'm most anticipating, which is Majo to Yaju, The Witch and the Beast. Um, Reading the synopsis, Gido, a feral girl with long fangs and the eyes of a beast, a chef, a soft spoken man with delicate features and a coughing strap to his back. This ominous pair appears one day in a town that's in thrall to a witch who has convinced the townsfolk she's their hero. But the chef and Guido know better. They have scores to settle and they won't hesitate to remove anyone in their way. So, it's effectively a gothic seinen drama. Its studio, which is Yokohama Animation Lab, is not the biggest one. It has some minor works with recent titles like Kingdoms of Ruin, which had people a little bit divided. But the animation seems pretty solid from the trailers. By the way, all of the trailers to all of the series that I mentioned here today will be on the description. I won't show them because the last time I showed any anime on the screen, I had to re-upload a video that was 30 minutes long around 10 times, and then a month later YouTube made me cut it even more, so you can watch the trailer down below. What got me most interested is that it's also directed with people from Psycho Pass, Kuroko no Basket, and Naruto the Last, being the first and the last titles here, the ones that caught more my attention. But the context seems really interesting. I really like seinen anime, and the whole gothic vibe gives me like a early 2000s vibe into the anime. So this is probably the anime I most anticipated to watch this season. But the second one that I'm most anticipating is Metallic Rouge. It's a new original anime by Studio Bones. It's original and it has lots of interesting people related to it on the production. We have some directors from things like Boku no Hero and other titles from Bonus. So we have the main Bones cast, let's say. But we also have on the script Nemoto Toshizo, which is related to Steins Gate and Durarara, which are really interesting titles. Steins Gate was a personal favorite of mine, so we might have really interesting things here. It's a sci-fi, probably more or less shonen anime, but it has lots of vibes of tokusatsu like Ultraman and a little bit of magical girls. It seems like a really, even though it has more like a younger vibe to the cast, it seems really interesting and really mature. So, but we'll have to wait to see. It releases on January 11th, which is soon to me at least. Next title is Buchigiri, another original anime. This one is from Studio Mappa, which has been banging all doors recently. And the cast, at least the staff, is considerably related to the topic of the anime. It's, let's say, delinquent type of. And what caught my attention was that the staff is related to many other, not necessarily even delinquent, but it kind of has that vibe. They have a staff from Banana Fish, Yuri on Ice, Haikyuu, Bungo Stray Dogs, Gintama. So it's kind of like a much more lively, possibly flamboyant. Some people are going to kill me for calling it Tokyo Revengers, which is something that people might relate to, at least in recent years, but probably with a lot more action and power. So it's a much more fantastical anime than Tokyo Revengers. It's probably going to be at least interesting to watch a few episodes, so you might also want to give it a try. Next, we have an anime that's derived from a very popular Korean manga called Solo Leveling. Probably if you watch this video, we will at least know of the existence of Solo Leveling. But summing up really quickly the story, especially because the synopsis is not short, we have this guy who's really weak. He participates into hunts because the world is starting to hunt monsters, and he needs to help his family pay medical bills. So essentially, he fucks up big time, and now he gets an opportunity to become much stronger than he ever anticipated to be. What caught my attention with Solo Leveling was especially the soundtrack by the legendary Hiroyuki Sawano, which is my personal favorite composer. It's really solid title. I watched the first episode. The animation is really good from Studio A1 Productions. So if you like battle shonen, you can't miss with this. If you like isekai, I don't know if it can be considered an isekai, but it has the energy of like power fantasies, which is like 90% related to isekais. You might be in for a ride. The next title is a very simple one, but it is from one of my personal favorite studios ever, Studio Trigger. And it's called a seinen anime. For some reason, I still need to watch it. But Dungeon Meshi, or Delicious in Dungeon, is an anime about people going to dungeons, but they are broke, so they need to eat somehow. Then they find monsters which they killed, and they think, maybe let's consume it. And then they try to do it, and then there's a dwarf that prepares it stupendously, and lots of shenanigans happen. So if you're into something different, if you like fantasy type anime, and if you like especially Studio Trigger, this is a no-brainer, and you'll probably really enjoy it, because people have also mentioned to me personally that the manga is really good. The cast seems super varied, and the characters seem also really interesting. So please give Dungeon Meshi a try. Next title is one I actually just watched while having my precious karage meal, which was Dosanko Gal wa Namara Menkoi, which is Hokkaido gals are super adorable. It's from a Shonen Jump manga, if I'm not mistaken, and it's really, really super adorable. Essentially, high school boy Tsubasa moves to a city in Hokkaido, and he immediately meets a gyaru, which is a gal, at the bus stop. The sight of her standing alone against the white snowscape, bare-legged despite the freezing cold, captures his heart. So, it's a really simple slice of life comedy romance kind of anime. May have some harem depending on the point of view. It's really super adorable. One thing I'd like to mention is that they have the studio is from some animes that I've watched before, like Demon Lord Academy and Jahi. It's a mid-sized studio, which is Silverlink, but their comedy is really good. And I like Jahi a lot, I like Demon Lord a lot. So it's a decent enough experience, visually wise at least. The protagonist, at least the main Gyaru, which is Minami Fuyuki, she's voiced by Ayane Sakura, which made also Yotsuba from Quintuplets. So it's really nice, it's really chill, it's the type of anime that you should watch like in the end of the day when you just want to like empty your mind. And I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably watch it full. Next up is Mato Seihei no Slave, which is Chained Soldier, the new adaptation from the new manga by the creator of Akame ga Kill, which takes me back a long time. I watched it, I don't know, like 10, 11 years ago. And I'm starting to rethink my life. But it's already started, I didn't have the opportunity yet. But the premise seems really interesting. It's from a studio that made Tonikawa and Blue Period, which is also a mid-sized studio, but from at least the trailers, it seemed like a decent enough animation for an action-packed series, which is extremely action-packed. One thing that is also interesting to mention is that they have producers from series like Yuru Camp, Tokyo Revengers, and especially Odd Taxi, which is a gold mine of an anime. I'll try to sum up the synopsis really quick because it's really big. But essentially, this guy called Yuki Wakura realizes that as his sister disappeared in a disaster. Um, Throughout the Japan, mysterious entrances have opened to a dimension called Mato, a demonic metropolis filled with disastrous monsters known as the Shuki that threaten the safety of humans. However, this new hope arises as discovered as the discovery of this fruit called Mato grants supernatural abilities exclusively to women, allowing them to fight against. Right as he's about to die, this girl in a militia outfit protects him. And as the chief of the 7th unit of the Demon Corps, Anti-Demon Corps, Kyoka Uzen is ambitious, yet devalued by her peers due to her power being a little bit unusual. With this, in a life and death situation, he becomes her slave, a powerful slave, and they go on many adventures together, which probably will be explained in this story. I really liked Akame ga Kill when I watched it a long time ago. It's probably going to be a very strong, maybe heavy anime in the sense of not expecting people to live, but the premise seems really interesting and the studio seemed like it could be enough to do the job. So we'll see how it goes. The last seasonal anime, which is a new season that I'm interested in, which I'll at least try to watch a couple of episodes, is Kekon Yubiwa Monogatari, which is Tales of Wedding Rings. I did not like a lot the synopsis that is my anime list. It feels too disconnected with what actually happens. Essentially, this is a story about a king of rings, which ends up becoming the protagonist as he travels through dimensions. So this is an isekai, but this isn't even mentioned here. It just says that he's looking for a girl that he liked 10 years ago, and she's now more dazzling than ever, and he doesn't have the courage. It's definitely not just this. It goes beyond, and he then goes on a hunt for these rings of that are wedding rings to go against some evil thing in the series. What is really nice here is that the producers are from really interesting titles like ReZero, Mob Psycho, Stone Ocean from JoJo, and Mushoku Tensei. So we have a strong lineup that's pretty much capable of an isekai, of producers. And it's from a studio from a recent, I don't even know if I could call Vermilion Gold an isekai. But it also makes sense considering the slight etchy nature of this series. So it seems interesting, especially by the trailer, and I'm going to give it a try as well, and I think you all should. Now going into the previously existing anime that are continuing to this season, either with a new season or continuing a season that was not finished on the previous one. Starting is essentially the new number one anime on my anime list, unless the Full Metal fanboys try to bomb it down to below what Full Metal currently is. For people who doesn't know, historically Full Metal Alchemist has been the number one series on my anime list for years, and whenever something gets close to it, it gets review bombed by its fans. Not the biggest agreeer on that, but apparently people like Frieren a lot because it's still weeks after its release above Full Metal with a 9.14 score, and Full Metal stayed at 9.09. These may say or not a lot about society. Considering this is a continuing anime, I will not touch the synopsis because it might or not get into spoiler territory for people, especially because the first few episodes, if I'm not mistaken, they're over an hour long and they have the whole premise of the anime. What I can say is it is easily the best new anime from 2023, and it's continuing strongly this year. It's an anime by Madhouse, which is a studio that has been laying low for some time, but I couldn't give a better recommendation than Frieren. Even considering the new anime on this season, Frieren is still my number one vote, and it's still the best anime I'm watching currently. So please give it a go. It's from Studio Madhouse. The staff is really strong. People from Hunter x Hunter, Chihaya Furu, Lupin the Third, and a place further than the universe. So please, if you're gonna choose one anime on this list, may it be Frieren. Next up, we have Undead Unluck. It's a new shonen series that's also continuing from past season. It's unfortunately stuck on Disney Plus Hell, at least on my country. It's by David Production, which is an excellent studio for especially action. And what can I tell you about it without going into spoiler territory? Essentially, we have people with negative things on their life, like bad luck or getting fucking killed. And then this becomes their power. It's a very over the top series. It's not what it seems initially. And I highly recommend it, especially because of the staff and the studio. We have people from JoJo, Dr. Stone, which bizarrely makes sense, and Tengoku Daimakyo, which is Heavenly Delusion from last year, which is also a really good title. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also a top manga in Shonen Jump. So you have no more reasons to look forward for a title like this. Next is the second season of Urusei Yatsura, one of my favorite comedies from recent time. It's a really nice harem romance comedy. It's a remake of a really old title, one of the first harem anime ever, and it's being really well made by David Productions as well. Again, it's a season 2, but the prequel from 2022 was really recent, and I'm surprised it came so fast because David Productions usually take a long time to make sequels, which gives it another reason for you to watch because you know that they are really fast with this and it's really nice content. I think the first season had more or less the same amount of episodes, around 23. So by the end of the season, you'll have like almost 50 episodes of god tier comedy in anime form to watch, and it's not on Disney Plus Hell. Another one, Aono Exorcist, the next season, the third season of Blue Exorcist, which thousands of people around me were expecting. It's by a studio called Studio Voln. I don't know if the staff is from the previous seasons, but it's a studio that made a really interesting movie called I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. From the trailer, the animation seems top tier. Overworld is coming back. I think the last season was like 7 years ago, more or less. Yes, it's from 2017. I felt like it was even longer than 2017, but it's top tier shonen. It's really interesting story about diabolic stuff. It's really nice. The style is really good. What can I say about Blue Exorcist? Watch it if you watched previous seasons, and maybe do it like what I'm doing now, which is watching the previous seasons to start the new one because people told me to. And also the staff is from people related to Hunter x Hunter and Hajime no Ippo. Next anime is from the highest scored comedy romances from the recent time. It's a season 2 of The Dangers in My Heart. It's a it's a romance anime about a bloodthirsty and shy teenager finding love for the first time. Or perhaps not. It's from Shinei Studio, which produced things like Doraemon, Shin-chan, and Takagi-san. So it's top tier romance. Second season, go watch the first one if you haven't already. Please also watch the trailer to see if it fits your needs. And the very last anime of this video, which I'm getting tired of, is Kusuriya no Hitori Goto, The Apothecary Diaries. It's also an anime in continuation. It's a Chinese themed. The story happens in China with Chinese characters. It's about an apothecary girl doing a bunch of stuff and shenanigans. It's from a really good studio in my point of view, OLM, which produced Odd Taxi, Summertime Render, and Komi-san Can Communicate. Top tier anime if you ask me. Summertime Render was my favorite anime of 2022? More, I think so. Probably. Let me check. 2022. It was also in Disney Hell, so not a lot of people watched it. So you may watch Summertime Render, but also watch Apothecary Diaries. Very good people have recommended it to me, and I shall be watching it soon as well. The staff is from Attack on Titan, Yofukashi no Uta, which is Call of the Night, a really, really good anime. You should also watch it, and Ginta. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching until now. Tell me what you're most interested into watching into this anime season. If there's any anime that I did not mention in this video, please let me know. Perhaps I find something new that I might have skipped because the list is too long and I don't have time to watch everything. Probably not even everything in this video I will watch. But I'll do my will to test what is within my reach. I don't even know why this is still planned to watch because I started it. Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe. Have an excellent 2024. I will do my best to keep you with more content. There are more videos being planned on both games and anime. Thank you so much for everything, and I hope we have a better year than the last one. Peace.